Freedom Mentor was the vehicle that we used to change our whole life.
I'm reminded of what you've said, Phil, that get excited anytime you come up to a problem because you're about to make more money.
If you're going to be an Olympic athlete, you want to achieve anything high level, you have to have coaches.
If you've ever entertained pursuing real estate with a partner to leverage each other's efforts and accomplish a lot more in less time, you're going to love this story. Look, too many business partnerships go bad for a variety of reasons. In fact, there's a chapter in Real Estate Investing Gone Bad devoted to this topic. But you're about to discover a really unique business partnership that has spanned many years, and you'll meet two really special people that have been able to combine their unique strengths and weaknesses and carry their passion for business opportunities into creative real estate to accomplish more together than they could have ever dreamed of on their own. I'm Brian Bush with Freedom Mentor, and for nearly 20 years, our team has transformed people from all walks of life into incredibly successful real estate professionals. Phil and I are excited to bring you these real-world stories of our apprentices' experiences and real estate success to help you realize the power of creative real estate to achieve financial freedom. Throughout this interview, if you have any questions, text FREEDOM to 305-315-8030 or comment below. Now let's meet James and Heath.
Really excited to have this time with a dynamic duo, James and Heath, from a more rural part of Missouri. I'm coming to you from my vacation home in the Florida Keys, Brian from his home office in Texas, and we're all connected by that passion for real estate investing, the success that we've all achieved. James, Heath, thank you all so much for being here.
Man, thank you for having us.
That's great.
We were excited when
Good
Brian
meeting.
contacted us.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to meet with you guys. To get us started,
Yeah.
Can you take us back to what were you all doing before you got started in real estate?
I was a speech therapist. I did that for about 5 years before we started with Freedom Mentor, and then another couple of years kind of as we were getting started.
I got trapped in the grocery business for 10 years, and then I went to the RV business for 20 and learned a lot and did well and learned people and systems. And we were selling RVs on consignment, and it was a brilliant business model that you could sell it before you had to pay for it. And then I found Phil, and I thought, this guy's talking about contracts controlling real estate. You can sell it before you pay the sale. I'm in. So I was learning all I could from your free stuff, and then we got into a pre-apprentice and got opened up to a lot of things. And I was running my mouth at work, about what I was learning that could actually help that business. Because you said you have to be good at marketing before you're going to be good at this business. I'm like, we don't have to learn that, do we? Yes. So they were really threatened that I had paid some money and was learning stuff. So they met me at the door Friday and said, you can't have your own business and work here too. And so you got to make a choice. So I was planning on my nice 6-figure income providing a real estate investing, but I went full time like that day. So we studied Kiyosaki. We studied the tax sales. We went to the tax sales. We were going to be real estate investors. And still the only thing I thought was go buy an on-market property and find a realtor that can take you around. And so
I spent 5 years going to the tax sale, trying to figure out what the deal was, and every year I go and I audio record the whole thing, and it's just, I don't know, it's too thick to figure it out, but it's just hard to figure it out without somebody that's already gone some distance with it before. So
your trainings on a lot of things, I went into it real skeptical, like one size doesn't fit all, he's not right on everything. And, just time and time again, we were like, yeah, feels right. Yeah, feels right. Feels right. It's a higher, it's signal.
Got questions? Simply text the word FREEDOM to 305-315-8030 and we'll help you. James, after you're looking at this, why bring Heath into it? How does a good friend translate into a good business partner?
Well, over the years, we had looked at the same deals. We'd gotten into a network marketing business together.
Okay.
And, we learned a ton. It backdoored us into all kinds of thinking and doing and mentors. And, when you're told you can't change your life one bit, son, if you don't change the way you think about money. And I was so stupid. I was like, what? you know, what do you mean think about money? What do I need to think differently about money? So just even though we didn't go on and make a successful career in network marketing, it sure introduced us to some concepts that we're grateful for.
Yeah.
But I showed it to Heath, and it took him a week, and he calls back. He's like, man, I'm in. I'm like, what are you even talking about? He's like, I studied that thing and I don't see any reason why it's not going to work. So I knew that he was such an analytical nuts and bolts, and still is. I mean, if he wants to look through it and analyze it and he thinks that it's good, that's my confirmation. So because we were already sharing information and classes and trying to get a mindset that one day we're going to be doing as many wise things as we know how, and it'll pay off.
I think we both recognize that we had strengths and weaknesses that might complement each other. I am a lot more analytical and kind of obsessive about things, and so I can kind of get stuck and bogged down. And James kind of is sort of the opposite in that respect, and he doesn't really think about it much, but he gets something done quickly. So it just moves and there's action. And so, working together, I've probably kept him out of jail and he's made us move forward so that we're can actually do something.
Well, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
I remember having a conversation early on when we were actually first talking about actually doing it together and kind of saying out loud, we have a lot to lose because we have a long-standing friendship, and there's a lot to lose there, and it is a risk that we're taking. It'll help mitigate that risk to actually acknowledge it, first of all. So if you acknowledge it and are aware of it, it'll mitigate the likelihood of that actually ruining a friendship if something doesn't work out. And we thought, well, there's also a lot to gain. So there's the other side of the coin. And I think we said from the very beginning, we probably aren't going to want to be partners forever, but we could really benefit each other as we're learning. Yeah. And there's some weaknesses that each of us have that would be benefited by the other one's strengths.
And to be honest with you, I mean, we wouldn't have a business if it was just me. I wouldn't have what we have today. And we have spent so much time developing skills independently of each other. I don't know what he's doing, but I know he's doing all kinds of things that are helping every single day and protecting us, and we're moving it forward, and we don't have to talk every day. In fact, he runs from me, dodges me all the time.
Every successful real estate investor has a mentor. Get mentored by me and my team by applying to be my next apprentice. Click the top corner.
You all have done something so special because of that chemistry. And I think also you're so consistent, you're so level-headed. It goes from being something that I would advise against to this is just perfection when you have that kind of chemistry back and forth. So I think it's fantastic. It worked out brilliant here because of the way you two are.
How did you all specifically, is that just because you've known each other so long that you just kind of divvy up and do things, or do you have to spell out and here's what you're going to take on, here's what I'm going to take on? How has that worked, that dynamic between you two?
I think most of it just happened pretty naturally, pretty organically, based on what our natural gifts were.
In the early years, that's what I was about, was let's get all this stuff, let's weed through and get the cherries. And we weren't messing with anything if it wasn't 40 or 50,000, so we had our pick of a lot of good deals, and I want it to be done. But
usually get together with the seller together and do that. And then I would break off then after that conversation and get the contract ironed out.
Was there any hesitation? Were you concerned about the idea of sharing in profits? Or was this a goal that you had set, and so it was kind of like an achievement to have the opportunity to get into the apprentice program?
Nobody likes to give up profits, but the best thing about sharing profits is actually making profit. How much profit would I've ever been able to make? Clearly, not a lot, because the deals we had done, we already recognized we know so little. Obviously, this organization knows what they're doing because we've learned so much from the pre-apprentice program, just the videos, reading through the contracts, and just going out and starting to try to do it. But we also recognize that, gosh, we really need some help. It would be nice to know that kind of thing before we're at the closing table. It was just something that I had no way of knowing. There's no way I couldn't have Googled that ever to find that out.
Right.
That's not something you can Google. I think one of the most valuable things that I learned in the program was that my concept of it is that I'm in this room, and until I bump into these walls, I don't know which walls are real and which ones are just cardboard. And so you can say, I don't want to have to operate inside of a box, but until you bump into that wall, you don't know if it's an actual wall that matters, that you can't move, or if it's just a cardboard wall that's, it's like, that doesn't really matter at all. It's a mindset change to do that.
You've made so many advances and learned so much. I mean, looking back, if you were right now maybe speaking to someone that was considering applying to Freedom Mentor, what kind of advice would you share with them?
Well, I'd say do it. For them.
Yeah, I mean, the only person I can think about going back to give advice to would be myself. And I've just never been one to trust the system. But you do have a system, you have accountability, you have an alignment of interest. But if you don't have somebody to help you implement that and the minutia of all that, and like the mindset and just all of the stuff that you combined with Freedom Mentor, like Evernote, and things that have stuck with us and me of how to organize my life and my thinking. And, this is not about wearing 18 more hats to make a bunch of more money. It's about getting your freedom. And if success is getting to live your life more in your own way, we have found so much of it: success, freedom. But I prayed for 20 years that if I could ever get set free from working to pay the rent, if I could ever just figure out how to get money to work for me and have some leverage, what would I do with my life? And so that's where the question begins. Now you just need to find a vehicle that'll help you get there. And Freedom Mentor was the vehicle that we used to change our whole life.
It's a way of thinking. It's not just, there are creative strategies that you learn specifically, but it's also a way of thinking creatively. I kind of conceptualize it as, I talked about a machine earlier, that I kind of have this machine. I had kind of maybe three basic machines, but I know all of the aspects of all of the parts on this machine. So much so that I can take something off this one, I can turn around backwards and put it on this one, and it does something a little bit different. And I can do that because I learned a different way of thinking through these problems. It's not just that I know what the things on the machine does, it's that I think about things a different way. I'm reminded of what you've said, Phil, that get excited anytime you come up to a problem because you're about to make more money. Mm-hmm. That's so true. When those problems happen and you're like, doggone it,
we're just gonna have to make some more money out of this.
This is just not gonna be a deal. And then you realize, oh, if we actually, you just keep kind of picking at it, and then when that finally opens up and you're like, oh, this is how we can get it done, there's more money on the other side because of that.
In the Chinese language, the word for crisis and opportunity is the same. And when you have that crisis, you've got an opportunity to really structure it better. Yeah. Every time we've run up into some obstacle, we've structured it even more advantageous.
And then not just more advantageous to us, but more advantageous to the seller. That's the thing.
So it's not just house flipping. Let's talk about your rental portfolio. What are y'all doing there?
Right now, we've got, I think we have 4 rentals right now. And we've got 4, I think, in process of getting renovated in order to hold as long-term rentals.
Okay.
The last big batch of houses we bought, sub 2, with plans to wrap mortgage owner finance.
Uh-huh.
we decided to put the brakes on that and just rehab them all
Mhm.
and keep them. So we're heading toward hanging on to more as our model.
That's so exciting. That is part of that's how the real estate investor also develops freedom. They systemize the best that they can, but to an extent, it's not all the way.
Right.
The creative real estate investing, you get it to a point, and then but you still have active involvement, but it's not
Very.
completely hands off mailbox money.
Right.
Well, you're right about the active side, but that active side, where I think Freedom Mentor is the apt description, that active side does get you so much faster to the passive side. And
Yeah.
that is like you're saying, that's where the more freedom comes from.
Mhm.
The information is one thing,
Yep.
and the recognize, identifying in all that information what all of the puzzle pieces are, and then actually putting all those puzzle pieces together and then doing that efficiently, that's a whole nother ball game, and it's not easy no matter how much information is out there.
You need a coach. You just need, if you're going to be an Olympic athlete, you want to achieve anything high level, you have to have coaches.
Well, gentlemen, this was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing the wisdom you've gained. Thanks for the kind words about what we've done for you all in your lives. I'm so thankful that you all have not only stuck together as a partnership in business, but it seems like you've strengthened every year you've been together. What a blessing that is. What a great opportunity it is for the future too. Excited for what y'all have ahead of you. And again, thank you so much for being here with us. Brian, thank you so much for putting this together. Again, as always, thanks for your wisdom as well.
James and Heath were able to combine their complementary skills of analysis and action into a partnership with the help of the Freedom Mentor team that has achieved amazing results. Now, make no mistake, you should be very cautious who you go into business with. You have to be clear what each partner brings to the relationship, what their roles and responsibilities will be, and you must have aligned interests and incentives. It's extremely rare when all these are aligned, but when a partnership is done right, it's a wonderful thing. As James and Heath shared, there were a lot of pieces they had to put together and shifts in their thinking and creative problem solving that were required to get their business off the ground. But they knew Freedom Mentor was the vehicle that could allow them to change their lives. They committed to it, and now they're incredibly successful. If you want to change your life through the proven vehicle of real estate and with the hands down best in the business, apply to our apprentice program, where our team will mentor, coach, and guide you to financial success. There's a link in the description and in the top corner. And if you have questions about anything you've learned today, text FREEDOM to 305-315-8030. And if you haven't read it, get your free copy of the best-selling book, How to Be a Real Estate Investor. I'm Brian Bush with FreedomMentor.com. If you gain more real estate wisdom through this interview, be sure to like and subscribe, and let us know below how we can help you achieve freedom.